everybody. Welcome to MaxBang. My name is Max, and I like to drink coffee. MaxBang is a half-hour hangout, so grab a cup of coffee, take a seat, and how's your mother? Today, we're drinking a warm cup, hot cup of Bitches Brew. Bitches Brew is I bought it completely for the name. I think it's a Groundworks type coffee. Although I'm not sure if Groundworks is a brand or a coffee shop near my house. Well, I know it's a coffee shop near my house, but I'm not sure if it's a national or international brand. While you're getting settled, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button on this video. Comment in the comments what you're drinking. And if you are a fan of this type of content, go ahead and hit subscribe, and that tells the YouTube algorithm this is the type of video that you'd like to see in the future. Happy weekend, everybody. Bitches Brew. I bought it completely for the name. Let's be 100% serious. We have a French press at the house. We have an espresso maker at the house. So I grind my own coffee, so now I have to buy whole bean coffee. Not a big deal, but you have to make sure that you're buying it. The easiest way to do it is to grab it and give it a nice little squeeze. You know, like you're squeezing a bag of coffee. Fucking perv. Or you just rattle it. But I have now gotten in the habit of buying whole bean bags of coffee. Bean bag is a great Boston name for your ball sack, by the way. What's happening, though, is that I am very susceptible to clever names or marketing ploys, and I'm sort of keenly aware of how pathetically I fall into the the most rudimentary of trap names, like Bitches Brew or Golden, Blonde Roast. Coffee names are weird. They're not like crayon names. They're not like names. They're not like pun names of a cappella groups in college. Here Comes Treble. The Treble Makers. It's all about that bass. God, I hate acapella. I have a love-hate relationship with acapella music. Let's get right into it. Controversial topics. 9 a.m. in the morning. 9 a.m. in the morning. It's 9 a.m. in the morning, boys. Controversial topics right now. I hate acapella music. Here's the thing. I really like acapella music. I like listening to it. It's awesome. I really hate the people that I knew in college that were in a cappella groups. And I think for the most part, most people that were in college that were in a cappella groups, because it's not that they're dorky. I don't have a problem with dorks. I feel like I am a dork, although I don't think the dork community has ever welcomed me with open arms. They're always sort of like, what the fuck are you doing here? I've been to Comic-Con. You know what I mean? I've seen every single MCU movie in order and watched the behind-the-scenes footage. I think my nerd card, I played chess online. I think my fucking nerd card, if you look at it on paper, I think my nerd card has some pretty good stats on it. Now, I don't look. This is one of those weird situations where people judge book by cover a lot. When I tell people I'm really into Spider-Man, they're like, yeah, but are you? I feel like you're more like into just like football, which I am. But let's see what's on my wall right now. Spider-Man. So, anyway, I haven't really been welcomed with open arms into the nerd community, but it's not whatever. Anyway, the acapella community, they are nerds, fine. My problem with the acapella community is I thought that being in an acapella group was pretty fucking dorky in college, and two of my friends my freshman year were made made the a cappella group, which basically means they tried out and they showed up and they sang their little hearts out. And then so one time they're like, we're all talking about like what we want to do on Friday, and they're, I'm like, all right, yeah, like let's either like go play baseball outside, or like we'll just get some like chill in the park or whatever, the quad, or we'll get some beers and I don't know, drink them or whatever. And they're like, oh man, like we got to go to this acapella thing. Sorry, man, I didn't mean to rub it in. And I was like, rub it in? What are you talking about? And they're like, well, I mean, like you didn't make the team, or you're not in the group. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not in the group. It's embarrassing to be in that group. And then I realized that they were like talking down to me because I'm not as much of a fucking dork loser as they were. You know what I mean? So they were looking down at me like I was the fucking loser. And I was like, no. In fact, you guys are the ones who are the losers. Do you understand that? They didn't understand it. Also, I used to go to other fucking shows. God, it's so lame. They get up and they're like, okay, man, I guess it's my solo. Do-bap, 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 ooh. And none of their voices were like that good because, it's a college a cappella group. They're not like on the fucking Billboard charts or anything. Anyway, it was... And then a bunch of the girls in our group started joining the girls' a cappella groups. And then we have to go to fucking double shows. And I'm like, oh my God, for Christ's sake, why am I going to 2 a cappella shows on a Friday night? I'm in college. This is insane. But they were my friends. And you do stuff for your friends that you don't want to do. Like you go to this stupid fucking a cappella group show and... whatever, it's fine now. It's fine now. Here comes treble. Here comes treble. What are you going to do? What were they called? I went to Trinity College. So they were called the Trinitones. Fucking dorky was that. Trinity College actually emails and calls me every single month asking for money. And I never give them any money. And do you know why? I'll tell you. I'm so glad you asked. When I was between junior and senior year, I took summer school classes. I took a year off from college, so I was sort of behind anyway. So I was trying to like catch up a little bit, and I didn't really know how I wanted my senior year to go, but I knew I didn't want to be too stressed out because I was writing a thesis. I wrote a fucking 75-page thesis on private military contracting. Mind-boggling. So in between my junior year and senior year summer, I took much summer school classes. Now, granted, I was in Vienna doing University of Vienna classes, so it was pretty fucking sweet. No matter how you cut it was pretty fucking sweet. But they were summer school classes. They were actually credits that counted towards my college degree or whatever. So I come back to school in the fall, senior fall, and I'm like, hey, I have these credits. I'd like for them to transfer, please. But they haven't gone through yet. I don't know why. I don't know if you need to talk to this university or like who needs to talk to who, but like, I'm like one class short essentially. Some schools do credits differently. So some schools, one class, like you take one course is 4 credits. For us, one course was 0.25 credits. So it all worked. Doesn't matter. I'm one class short of graduating, right? And I have 2 classes that I took last summer that will count towards my major. So I'm actually, on paper, I'm 1 behind, but in reality, I'm 1 ahead. So I go to the registrar and I'm like, can you talk to them? Just get the shit squared away so I can graduate. I don't want to look like a fucking idiot because I didn't sign up for a class. Because I'd like to graduate, please. And they're like, no problem. We'll talk to them, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, in the meantime, I'm going to sign up for a class because if for some godforsaken reason this doesn't go through, bureaucracy, paper stuff, whatever, somebody's fax machine breaks. I want to be able to take a class to graduate. But once these classes go through, I'd like to drop the class, even though it might be past add drop period. Is that okay? To the registrar. They're like, yes, 100%. That actually makes a lot of sense, because sometimes like one of your classes will count, but one of them won't, or, who knows. But whatever. I have 2 classes that'll count towards my major. Anyway, so I take the class. It's a German history course with a teacher that I really liked. And the credits go through, and I dropped the class. I sent an email to the registrar to drop the class because it did take a month. I knew it would take a while. These guys are slow. So it was past the period where you can add or drop a class. Finally, the classes went through, and I dropped the German class. So then about another month goes by. I'm walking around. I run into my professor, and he's like, hey, what happened? Like, you're failing my class. And I was like, oh, yeah, I dropped your class. I'm sorry. I'm writing this huge thesis right now. I'm totally stressed out. My mind is shattered. I sort of signed up for your class as like a fail safe so that I could graduate because I have these 2 credits, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, you didn't drop my class. You're in my class. You're just failing because you haven't taken any of the tests or quizzes or done any of the homework. I'm like, what are you talking about? I dropped it. I dropped it. And he's like, you're on my roster, so you should check with the registrar. So I went back to the registrar and I was like, hey, fuckers. I was like, hey, fuckhead. What the fuck is going on here? Like, I told you I was going to drop this class. They're like, yeah, well, it was past the add drop, so you can't drop the class. And I was like, I told you exactly what was going to happen. I told you that these credits might not go through. I told you that I would just add this class, and I would email you, Lisa. You know what I mean? Like, I have the email chain with you saying, can I drop this class after add drop as long as these credits go through, because this is the situation. They were like, yeah, no, you can't drop the class. Sorry, it's past add drop. That's the rule. That's our policy. And I was like, but no, like I talked to you. You said this was okay. Like, were you lying, or are you just a fucking asshole? And they're like, I don't know, but you're not dropping the class. So in my last pathetic flailing of hollow threat, I was like, I will never give money to this college if you don't let me drop this class. This is ridiculous. I'm literally getting an F in this class. My whole grade point, it's tanking my entire GPA. This is ridiculous. And she was like, you're not dropping the class. Or you can't drop the class. I was like, cool, fine. Fuck you. I left. That was it. So I had to so now I don't give money to Trinity College. What happened in German history, or whatever it was, class, I went back to the professor and I was like, hey, this is the situation. It's 2 weeks before graduation. I'd like to not get an F in this class, please. Even though, it's one class of 4 years, but still, I don't want to fail. I've never failed a class. My GPA is fire. You know what I mean? And he was like, I mean, if you do all of the tests and quizzes, or if you do all of the homework, and I'll give you all the quizzes and tests, I'll give you a C plus or whatever, depending on what you get. And I was like, in we literally had 10 days before graduation. I was like, fine. So I did an entire semester's worth of class in, I think it was a week, Monday through Friday. I stayed up all night every night. I did all of the homework, and then he gave me all the quizzes. I did all of the quizzes. I would just sit in his office and just burn through a quiz and be like, next. And it was a fucking nightmare, and I did it. And he was like, wow, pretty good. B plus, but attendance, so C plus. And I was like, Fine, whatever. Fine. Fuck you, school. Not even school. Like, cool, great school. Great teacher, honestly. Great professor. But, the registrar, go fuck yourself. It really just reminds me that there's a whole bunch of people in this world, and they do this thing, which is in my opinion the most frustrating thing in the world, and I feel like I run into it all the time, which is they follow the letter of the law to the point where it's not the right thing to do anymore. It's detrimental to the situation, the person, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't actually help what the underlying thing that you're trying to do. The underlying thing that Trinity College was trying to do was give me a good education, you know what I mean? Have me have a good experience, make me happy, make me friends, make me, socially ready to take on the world, give me some sort of direction in life, give me at least a base of knowledge on like how to think, how to learn, how to approach a problem, stuff like that. And the registrar was like, nope. The rule for us is if it's past that week or 10 days or whatever, you can't drop the class. And I was like, even in a situation where it was clearly the wrong thing to do, they were like, sorry, we can't, nothing we can do. Our hands are tied. I'm like, well, who are they tied by? You fucking idiot. I feel like I run into that quite a bit. Now, how do you combat that? Good question. I don't know. One thing I do know is that if you can talk out a situation with someone and get them to see what you're saying and phrase it, use a lot of phrases like, what are we going to do? How are we going to fix this? Is that right? Is that what we're trying to do? That helps a lot. Being consistent, but polite, but consistent. Pushing for stuff, not really letting stuff go, staying silent a lot on the phone during awkward situations. That helps a lot. I don't know. I find that I run into that quite a bit, and I really feel like it's the worst of all worlds, because it's not right, or you would if you thought about it for 5 fucking seconds. You know what I mean? But people, and I don't know why. I guess another question is, why does it happen? And I think the answer to that is a little bit more clear. It's that they have to be able to. They don't want to get in trouble with their job. They don't want to lose their position. They don't want to lose their responsibility. They don't want it to be their fault. Or they want to be able to defend what they, like, if they take a risk, they have to very much be able to defend what they did to their supervisor or to someone looking at what they did in retrospect. That's always the fucking bullshit too. The other bullshit is like, there was a time at work. This reminds me of a time at work where I started writing all of my emails and correspondences and stuff like that as though I was in a deposition and had to explain it to a lawyer or a judge why I did what I did. We got sued for something pretty ridiculous. I forget what it was. And it was clearly like not our fault. It was clearly like someone just trying to shake us down for money. I think like I forget. There was like it was when I was a landlord and somebody had mold in their apartment, and as soon as they call for mold, you have to like get it out of there real quick because it's a health hazard. And so they called, they had mold. We went in there, we ripped the shit out of their bathroom, got all of it and replaced it and fine, whatever. Then like a year later, they sued us saying like we didn't work fast enough or we didn't like act fast enough or whatever. And we won, thank God, because the truth is the truth. And if you can, it's much easier to show the truth than to show a fabrication or a lie. But I remember they were going through emails, and I had like offhandedly joked that like this is taking forever or something like that. And I think I got out of it because what was taking forever was I can't remember, like the phone call system we were using or something like that. It wasn't taking days, it was taking hours. That's what was taking forever. And luckily I was able to show that enough that, everyone was satisfied with my explanation. But I remember thinking like, damn, they like totally misread what I said because I made a joke, because I wasn't super explicit about whatever. So after that, I started writing all of my emails as though if someone, as though I was sitting next to two sets of lawyers being like, okay, so when you said go fuck yourself, you fucking moron, what exactly did you mean by that? I started writing shit in like this weird legalese, like easily defendable, very dorky, clear manner. It's very fucking weird. Anyway, so I think that's why I think that people have to be able to defend what they do to other people. And that sucks. It really sucks. And I think people just don't want to like stick their neck out for anybody anymore. It really sucks. What a world. Okay, let's get to a fun question. Good Lord. I mean, enough about like legalese and all this serious stuff, and let's get to let's check the comments on the last video. First of all, make sure you comment something you'd like to hear me discuss or teach or whatever, because excuse me, I'm here to serve you guys. I'm here to make you guys, we're all here to talk about whatever. So if you got something bothering you, let me know. Purple Witch, I don't know what you were on today, Max, but I want some. I tell you what I was on. I watched one of my MaxBangs, and I was like, this is really soothing. It's nice and whatever. And then I watched somebody else's podcast, and he was just zany, off the walls, a lot of energy, just like upped his energy a lot. And I was like, damn, should I up my energy? Should I have the coffee before I start rather than during? I mean, what the heck? You know what I mean? So I upped my energy for sure. Cass, what's up, babe? Today's drink is water. Stay hydrated, my friends. Completely unrelated. First of all, drink water. Drink a lot of water. Your pee should be clear. And frankly, as a former wrestler, it is a fucking privilege to be able to stay hydrated all the time. And it's something that you should really, really enjoy, because being dehydrated sucks. And you're angry, you have headaches, you can't focus, you have no strength, you can't lift your... Somebody died. You can't lift your arms. Like, being dehydrated sucks. And I went through years of actively dehydrating myself and then trying to rehydrate and then trying to compete in a fitness-related thing. Like, it was a nightmare. So, drink a lot of water. Drink a full glass of water as soon as you wake up. Maybe 2. Fuck it. Why not? Chug pint glasses full of water whenever you can. If you really don't like water, put a lemon in it. Gatorade is not as good as you'd think it is. Gatorade has a lot of sugar in there. Just regular old, clean, cold water. That's the way to go. Completely unrelated, but on the note of bars, I went to college in Boston, and when they closed down the bar right next to campus, we all shed a collective tear. R.I.P. Sweetwater Tavern. That was a good one. Where was Sweetwater Tavern? I feel like it was near the Common. Yep, it was right in the alley. It was in the alley. There was a part of Boston where, for the most part in downtown, it's like bigger streets. Automobile streets. And then there was this one part that was just called the alley, as far as I knew. And it was just an alley that you turned into, and it was a dead end, and you just, and it was no car. It was pedestrian only. No street. It was just brick, whatever, walking. And it had 3 or 4 of the greatest bars ever. What was that one? There was one with a mechanical bull. Classic. Used to love that one. There was one, what was it called? I don't remember. These are, and they're all probably closed now, but I mean, the alley had some of the sweetest bars. God, reminiscing. The alley. Is that my favorite bar in Boston? No, my favorite bar in Boston was Daisy Buchanan's for sure. Daisy Buchanan's was a basement tavern where all the Red Sox players went, and they'd hit on your girlfriend, but who cares? They were played for the Red Sox. It was pretty fucking cool. That's where my buddy, we went on his 21st birthday, and he got hammered, and they were like, okay, this guy's got to go. And as they're dragging him out, I'm like, dude, what the fuck? He's fine. Like, what's the problem? He's not like, they're like, he's too drunk. I'm like, he's not too drunk. It's just his birthday. Like, look at him. And then my buddy is getting held up by his shirt, just turns and goes, and pukes all over the bouncer. And yeah, that was it. That's when we left. No big deal. Jen Russell, my favorite place I've been is Germany. Ooh, Aruba and Napa on the books for 2022. Pandemic pending. Well, excuse me, guess what? Pandemic's on its way out, as far as I'm concerned. Everybody's getting vaxxed. Everybody's, our cases in LA have plummeted. There was a time when we were like 15,000, 18,000 cases a day. Now we're down to like 300. Amazing. 3 million people have been vaccinated, I think, or something like that in the U.S. Crazy numbers. If you can, go get vaccinated. I got my shot, and I couldn't be more excited. I'm just so, man, I'm so pumped. Call my parents. They're like, "You got the shot? Let's start planning a trip, baby. Where are we going?" I was like, "Well, I'm going to the bar." I think this summer is going to be fucking awesome. I hope the summer is going to be awesome. I was planning on the fall being lit AF, but now it looks like we might catch a slutty summer. I was just reading a New York Times article about how it's a quote slutty summer. Officials are bracing for a quote slutty summer. I don't know who came up with that name, but I love it. I love it. I can only assume slutty means less like eating an Italian sandwich with your mouth wide open, just like salami flapping in the wind, oil just like slutty summer. I'm talking about spitting in people's mouths. I'm talking about coughing loud. I'm talking about laughing, LOLing, IRLing. Ashley, I did air squats and good mornings without weights as part of my warm-up this morning. Did overhead presses as well. Just drinking water at the moment as I already had caffeine in my pre-workout. Wow, Ashley Stewart. That's quite the flex. Good mornings are really nice. Air squats are obviously very nice. I've started stretching. I'm incredibly inflexible. In fact, I can't touch my toes. I have very poor ankle mobility. My shoulders are fucked. I can't, if I start with my arm out in front of me and I try to go straight up, I only hit about 45 degrees. Pathetic. The worst part about being inflexible, there's a lot of terrible parts, and I'm sure as I get older and I turn into an old man, it'll be an absolute nightmare. But the worst part about not being flexible is I can't use my favorite line, which is, "Hey, what's your favorite sexual position?" Well, I really like doggy, but I'm flexible. Only I'm not flexible. Next time. Jerica, I haven't traveled much, but I love Disney World. Disney World or Disneyland? Or both? I've been to both. I like both. Even the roller coasters scared the shit out of me. My poor dad. I hate roller coasters. My brother loves roller coasters. So we went to Disney World. My poor father is like, we all go on the roller coaster once, and then I sort of dizzily stumble down the street, and I'm like, all right, I gotta sit down. And my mom's like, I guess I'll take this fucking loser. And then my brother's like, so we're gonna go again, right? And my dad's like, okay, I'll take the other one. And so my brother and my dad ride Space Mountain 9 times in a row, and me and my mom are just like, we barely did it once, and then we're just sitting there like eating ice cream cones and being like, wow, what a nice day it is, Florida, who knew? And so my poor father, shout out to my dad for riding Space Mountain 11 times in a row with my absolute iron stomach little brother who's taller than me anyway, so it's fucking bullshit. Anyway. Regulating your caffeine is probably a good idea. I'm not very good at that. I crushed pre-workout yesterday for no reason other than I was saying this on my Instagram story. My favorite thing about pre-workout is it's like you're swallowing a time bomb. Once you drink your pre-workout, the decision has been made. You are working out because your face is about to burn, tingle. Your eyes are about to itch like a motherfucker. So you better start working out. And I think that's gonna be it for today. A lot of people are drinking water, which I really do appreciate. I'm very happy you guys are drinking water. Being hydrated is, in my opinion, one of the best things you can do for yourself. And whenever I have a headache or whenever Brittany has a headache, I'm like, when's the last time you drank a glass of water? Goes a long way. And there's something maybe it's just because I dehydrated myself on purpose for wrestling for so long, but there's something so satisfying about seeing clear pee and being like, oh, fuck yeah. I'm so hydrated, bitch. And if you don't believe me, don't drink any water for 2 days and then try to work out as hard as you can. It sucks. It's the actual worst. But you don't have to because you don't do a ridiculous sport like wrestling. Also, shout out Kyle Dake making the Olympic trials, the U.S. Olympic team, beating Jordan Burroughs, arguably the greatest U.S. wrestler of all time. There's a really cool documentary called Dake versus Burroughs, Bad Blood on YouTube, Flow Wrestling. Check it out. There's a really cool Jordan Burroughs documentary on Peacock, I want to say, which is kind of annoying because he just missed the Olympic team. Really, the annoying thing about the Olympic team, and this is, we're getting real into the weeds here, but the annoying thing about the Olympic team, the Olympic wrestling, is that Olympic wrestling has been under fire for a while. They tried to cancel Olympic wrestling a couple years ago. The one in the logo for the Olympics, the two guys going like, the two stick figures, fucking wrestling, you morons. The way they separate wrestling is everyone gets a weight class. So everyone from 125 to 130 pounds, that's one class. 130 to 135 pounds, that's another class. In high school, there's 14 weight classes. In college, there's 12 or 10, I think. And in the Olympics, there used to be 10. Now there's 6, which is ridiculous. That's too much of a weight gap. Just give more wrestlers. Like, I don't know why the Olympics doesn't like wrestling, but the Olympics doesn't like wrestling. So if you know a wrestler, give him a nice, give him a smooch, give him a blowy, give him a bottle of water. I'm sure he'd really appreciate that. Give him an ice cold G2 Gatorade. He'd really like that. And that's it for me. Happy weekend. Sorry this one was a little late. But have a great weekend. Have a great week. Keep banging.